Good morning, guys and ghouls. This is Jason, Zombie Collector, and I am filming you this morning from beautiful Indiana. That's right, Indiana, the Hoosier State, the land of Bobby Knight and Axl Rose, and dare I say, Michael Jackson. I have a conversation for you guys today, another deep topic. My last video was setting the internet on fire. It's a fuego. And I thought, why not just do another one that's, maybe not as controversial. Maybe it is. I guess it depends on where you fall on the issue. So I don't know if you all keep track of these things. I don't necessarily keep track, but it's always like on the front, the front burner, I guess you could say, of news and commentary and commentators. You have a lot of social justice warriors now implanted in sports on the internet sites, at ESPN, at Sports Illustrated, at was it SB Nation, I believe it's called. All these things where they're trying to push a social liberal agenda, which is kind of shocking, really, when you're talking about sports. I mean, sports is supposed to be entertainment, right? You're supposed to not really think about the things of the world. It's like going to a movie. You want to go watch a movie where you're not being inundated with political commentary on either side of the issue. Like, I don't care. I don't want to go watch any movie and have an agenda pushed down my throat, So this is not like any slap in the face of liberals or whatever. This is, in general, if I want to watch baseball or basketball, football, whatever, I want to not, be inundated with political agendas. So that being said, is that over the last couple of months, I've been noticing stories about how black players over the course of games and of years and decades or whatever, I guess we can just talk about the most recent, like last 10 years or so, said they would have, like, at certain scenarios, would have racist things said to them. Now, obviously, that is unacceptable at any juncture. That's 100% not acceptable. And I believe these players are telling honest scenarios that has happened to them, but it seems like they never addressed it at the time. They're talking about it now, years later, sometimes in some cases, decades later, where that could have been addressed at the time it happened, with fans screaming obscenities. Well, maybe not obscenities. That's screaming racist type things to said players. And you have people like Kenny Lofton, I believe, and Adam Jones in particular talking about. I know Adam Jones talks about it, and you have a couple other guys that say these things. And I'm like, Adam Jones has never really been all that relevant, but he's definitely not relevant anymore. But you see him pop up once in a while on the radar now when he talks about how racist baseball is and how racist these fans are. I'm like, where was this at, 8 years ago when you're beginning your career? And maybe he mentioned it then and they didn't play that much. I don't know, but it seems like now it's more than ever about it, and I can tell you, at least whenever I've gone to a Major League Baseball game or been at a bar or been in a group of people watching games, no one's yelling negative racist things at players. I've never seen it, never heard it. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Well, of course, I'm sure it happens. But it may, the way it makes it sound like it happens, at these scenarios. Well, the other thing is, I find it interesting is that, Adam Jones, let's say, plays 162 games a year. And in one game, if you're talking about one specific situation, or even a dozen over the course of 10 years of playing, not to trivialize it, but that's not all that much. It's not like every time, it's not like he's Jackie Robinson, where he's like literally being attacked at the plate, on the field, in the dugouts, walking into the stadium, walking to the bus, whatever. It's, that was true, barbarism that Jackie Robinson had to go through, which is nothing like Adam Jones. And so, but the hypocrisy of it is that, you have a guy like, I think, Tim Anderson, of the White Sox guy, who referred to a white baseball player as the N-word because he threw at him. I'm not for sure if it was on purpose or on purpose or on accident, but regardless, he charged the mound and called him the N-word, and he got suspended for one game, guys, because he's black. If a white baseball player screamed the N-word at anybody, even in a joking manner, or they do the wild and crazy thing and put the A on the end of it to make it not so offensive, that player probably undoubtedly would have been banned from baseball for eternity. He'd be playing in some kind of Mexican bush league somewhere, and that's if he's lucky. But he gets suspended for one game. Now, right there, if you're being an honest person, you know that's a double standard. Now, the hypocrisy of it all goes back to not just that, but about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a Chicago Cubs fan who apparently showed a white supremacist hand sign behind the commentator Doug Glanville as he was doing a report from, I believe, Wrigley Field. Now, we all know who has like half a brain that sign, who somehow again, liberal agenda media said that was a white supremacist hand sign because somebody at Charlottesville did it. So one time, one guy in one situation that's never been seen again or heard of again has did the circle game sign where you're doing like the OK symbol. I don't even want to show it because I don't want to get banned. The OK symbol, and that somehow is the racist sign of like white supremacy or some shenanigans. So this kid, you can tell he's a kid in the video, like a college-age kid or whatever, does it. Now, my son and I play this game, the circle game. It's been going on since at least the 80s. You see basketball players whipping it out all the time, NBA players who are black, whenever they do a three-pointer. You have all kinds of players in all kinds of situations, all kinds of walks of life throwing up this hand sign that it is, for a three-pointer, an OK. Well, the circle game is the exact same principle, but you hang it lower because you want the person to look below your waist, and then you slap and then punch them on the shoulder. It's been going on since, I don't know, the 80s at least. Well, this kid, and if you get the person to look, that's the thing. I might not have said that, but you gotta get the person to look at the OK sign, and then that's when they slap them on the wrist or slap them on the arm or whatever because you looked. It has zero to do with racism. However, Wrigley Field, in their great, knowledge and all things, woke, have supposedly suspended and then banned this kid. Because I'm calling him a kid because you can tell he's a young guy, forever from Wrigley Field because that was supposedly racist. Now, the lunacy of this is unbelievable. Because one, that's the most epic troll move in the world, is to drop the circle game sign on the Chicago crowd and the people watching at home because everybody's looking at Doug Glanville and they see him, this guy busting out the circle game. They don't even ask the guy or ask this kid if he was actually being racist. If he was really doing that in Chicago, we all know that Chicago's MAGA country. Didn't you get the memo? Jussie Smollett taught us all that it's MAGA country up there. But if he was actually doing that as a racist symbol, ask the people around him, hey, was this guy, talking about racism and white supremacy and how he would do something? Now, if that came back as the case, if you do some investigation, okay, I got it. Guy should be banned. Okay, that guy's a moron. But I can guarantee you that's not what was happening. They, instead of doing any kind of investigation, they immediately jumped to the conclusion that this guy apparently is some neo-Nazi KKK member trying to start some static with poor Doug Glanville, who's just trying to report on a game. But the irony does not stop there. That they were so woke that this white kid, who definitely was a racist, that in the same week, they bring back Addison Russell, who is a convicted wife beater, back to the team. Welcomed him with open arms. Said, hey, welcome back. We want you to be back on our team because we are all about family and what's right and just in the world. We want to make sure that we are completely supporting a wife beater who beat the living crap out of his woman. But we want to make sure he gets to come back and welcome back with open arms, and we're going to not say a cross word about him. and we're not gonna convict him of any kind of wrongdoing and just, not turn a blind eye or nothing. We're gonna take him back, but Lord have mercy, if you put up the circle game sign in a game, you are crucified. You are gone. There's no questions. There is no grace. There is no asking, hey, what was this about? No, like trying to, just get to the bottom of it. No, sir. We are gonna crucify you as a racist, bigot, hater, but we will make sure we take back this convicted, wife-beating piece of garbage, because that is the right thing to do. So guys, let me know what you think. Where am I at on this issue? You all think I am right? Do we think that mixing race into the baseball game, or just politics in general? Does every time a player has something bad happen to them, does it turn into, is it because they're black, white, Hispanic, or Asian? I could go back to what Yasiel Gurriel 2 years ago, when he was making fun of Yu Darvish for being Japanese, putting his fingers up to his eyes and doing the slanty eye thing. What happened to him? Nothing. A couple game suspension or something, or a couple $1,000 taken out of his pocket. But that POS gets to keep on playing. Nothing happened to that guy. Why? Because what? Because he's Hispanic? He can go around and being a racist? So if you're a black guy calling a white guy the N-word, or you're a black guy, Hispanic guy, whatever you want to call it, making fun of Asians and making fun of their eyes, those are all okay. But if you're a white guy saying anything negative, even as a fan, circle game, as a fan screaming something, somehow that is just like grounds for just complete and utter meltdown of the system. Think about it, guys. I really want us to think about it, because if you're not seeing this stuff going on, then you just got some blinders on, or you just refuse to see it. Peace.